It's fine. Brandon does have some interesting cards in his deck. Specifically, he has Sigarda, Host of Herons, which is actually a way to stop you from getting Emrakul.
Yeah, that'll work.
And becoming a slightly more popular bullet in green-white versions of Maverick. He also has Wiltleaf Liege, an interesting one. Can protect his guys from Golgari Charms and whatnot. And he also has a Singleton Captain Sisay.
I saw this. I've seen this card before. I'm a big fan.
Captain Sisay forced Sigarda in response to Show and Tell. Well, if we're getting showed on like turn 5, like a fair and balanced Magic card, I guess that's a thing.
Sure. As we're going to see the opening turns here. Jensen on the play. He preordained early. Has an island and a copy of Scalding Tarn in play. Chang is going to sacrifice Mr. Rainforest. We'll see what land he's going to go get. And as he does search through here, I like to believe he knows what he's playing against.
Are we sure that we're watching Huey? Because, I mean, there isn't an Emrakul in play.
Give it time.
Yet.
Give it time. We can get there. He's going to search up a Dryad Arbor.
I'll check the face cam on the next one. Yeah, he searches up Dryad Arbor during the end step. Gives himself a little offense. Also a card he doesn't have to really worry about losing against Huey. I'm sure Brandon's able to easily assume based on his lovely face that he's on Sneak and Show.
Yeah, Becky's been playing for the past couple of months, so if you do keep up with the Open Series circuit, you know that's what he's rocking. As Chang has played a Savannah here, so if you're familiar with Legacy and Maverick, as I'd assume that Jensen is, then he knows that, okay, he's probably playing the green-white deck. And this is the dead giveaway now. Scrib Ranger on the end step.
Yep.
Jensen's going to take a look at it, so we'll bring it up on the screen for you. The 1/1 flyer that has protection from blue and does a slew of other things.
Yep, Scrib Ranger is the only real reason Brandon would search up Dryad Arbor on turn 1 and then not attack with it on turn 2, passing turn with 2 mana up, as now the Scrib Ranger can be used to actually generate mana by tapping and untapping the Dryad Arbor.
You see Chang's going to untap this, play that land. A little bit of action here. So let's see what the follow-up's going to be. It's a Zenith. You do see Scrib Ranger on the screen. Return a force you control. Untap target creature. As you said, it can generate some mana there. Scrib Ranger acting as accelerant protection from blue. Certainly not irrelevant on that card either.
No. It looks like a Zenith for 3 from Brandon.
The Mighty Knight.
That seems likely.
Any deck that's based around Night of the Reliquary is a deck I'm a fan of. I don't like it as much as Brian Kibler, but few people do.
I think we may be seeing a hard cast Daze here.
Ooh.
Huey fetching a land to get to 2 mana. And yep.
That's what it looks like to me, too. A hard cast Daze here from Jensen. Only 2 copies of Daze in his deck. He said, you can't play a ton of this card, but it is a card that people do kind of forget that is in Seek and Show. And there are times where it can actually be really good, and I think this is certainly one of them.
When Daze is good, it's usually incredible.
Yes.
In my experience.
Yes. So Jensen going to sacrifice Scalding Tarn yet again, get another Volcanic Island, life total going down to 17, 2 fetches, and that Scrib Ranger hit. We'll see if this is going to be the big turn.
I imagine that it will be. Any soul land will give him sneak attack plus a hasty monster.
Take a draw step here. Jensen did just draw a Show and Tell. Now, when you're playing against Maverick, you got to be a little bit careful, because if a Knight comes into play, then you can actually, after the Knight, go get a Crocus, bounce the guy that comes into play from Show and Tell. So Maverick, again, actually pretty good against that card, but Jensen, slow it down maybe.
Yeah, it's reasonable against Show and Tell. However, it's pretty weak to the card Sneak Attack. If you do get a Sneak Attack down, then that Knight's not going to do so much when you've already either drawn 7 cards or 14 cards or made them sacrifice a bunch of permanents.
Or annihilate later. Here is Show and Tell. Chang is going to lay a card down, as is Jensen. We have a sneak. Activates. I think it's an alien.
I smell spaghettis.
Yep. Activate and a trigger. A Wasteland. He can waste something if he'd like to.
Probably should.
And he's also going to return that back with Scrib Ranger. So there goes Volcanic Island. The rest of the permanents are going to be gone for Chang. Chang is going to go down to 4 after this hit for 15. But he can rebuild, because you see his hand, he's got a lot of lands.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Really, this board looks about the same, except he's at 4 instead of 19.
Yeah. I don't really see much of a difference.
Down a Scrib Ranger, no, ain't no thing.
And you see Jensen's going to shuffle up from the Emrakul trigger going to the graveyard. And we'll see if Chang is able to rebuild here, and wonder what Jensen does have in his hand to follow up with.
Yeah, this is one of those awkward spots where you're pretty sure that you are dead, but you got to make them show it.
Yeah, well, killing another red source with Wasteland is actually not bad.
Nope.
And okay, never mind. There's a Misty Rainforest off the top there for Jensen.
That's where we keep the good cards, Cedric.
Oh, on the top of the deck?
Yeah, because we want to draw them.
I wouldn't know. And there's an activation of that, and there is an alien. So, Huey Jensen is going to win game number 1 here over Brandon Chang. So he can show up a game over Maverick. And the Maverick player, you saw his hand, he had a lot of lands. The Swords of Plowshares there, too. So, got to keep a more proactive hand in this matchup.
His hand was really relying on Wastelands for the combo matchups, being able to use those to disrupt Huey, but Huey had the kind of hand that's not going to be very vulnerable to that. He had Island, Fetchland, Fetchland, and he didn't have to get a Volcanic Island until he knew the coast was clear, and that was really all it took. Moving to the sideboard, Brandon Chang is running the Enlightened Tutor sideboard, if you're familiar with this particular variant of Maverick. It's a sideboard I declined to run because Enlightened Tutors are $18 on Magic Online. But Enlightened Tutor gives you the ability to run some singleton silver bullets in the forms of artifact and enchantments that help your combo matchups. So he's got the 2 Enlightened Tutors, and then his board is 2 Crows and Grip, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Aethersworn Canonist. Note that both Rest in Peace and Canonist can be searched up by Enlightened Tutor,
Indeed.
making them excellent hate cards in addition to the normal Power Vault. Then he has an additional Thalia to bring him up to 4 Thalias. He has a Singleton Dueling Grounds. That's not going to be too relevant in this match.
Only one creature can attack.
It's a fun card. Then he has a Singleton Trinisphere, Singleton Thorn of Amethyst, Singleton Pithing Needle, Singleton Linvala, Keeper of Silence, and Singleton Garrick, Primal Hunter.
Your Primal Hunter is the 5-mana Garrick.
It is. As far as cards he's going to bring in this matchup, I would expect him to be bringing in Linvala, Keeper of Silence, an excellent card to bring in off of a show and tell against specifically Gristlebrand.
Yep.
Then he also has the option of bringing in Thorn of Amethyst or Trinisphere. They're not really powerful in this matchup. They like make the cantrips much more expensive and slow the opponent down. I could see maybe bringing in one, probably the Thorn, but not the Sphere. He will certainly bring in Pithing Needle, answer to Gristlebrand, and to Sneak Attack. Sneak Attack, again, a big card we talked about. And then he also has the Singleton Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, he can bring in. I don't see him bringing in the Canonists, even though I actually like them in blue decks against Sneak and Show because they allow you to just force whatever they do and they can't counter you back. It's actually pretty useful. But it's not so great when you don't have those counter spells. Rest in Peace, obviously a blank. He's not bringing in a lot of cards to be Enlightened Tutored for, so maybe only one Enlightened Tutor instead of both. And then Crows and Grip. I think we can leave Crows and Grip on the sidelines when we have Kasali Pride Mage in the main deck.
All right, you can Zenith for Pride Mage too,
Yeah.
so I think I'm with you there. Take a look at Jensen's sideboard. He's got 2 copies of Through the Breach, 2 Echoing Truth, 1 Red Elemental Blast, 2 Jace the Mind Sculptor, 3 Leyline of Sanctity, 3 Blood Moons, and 2 Pyroclasms. So the potential for Blood Moon to come here is actually a thing. Reason being is because it can shut off Karakas. There's actually a healthy amount of non-basics in that deck too, right?
Maverick is a very heavy non-basic deck, actually. I know when I was playing Blue-Red Delver, Price of Progress, I boarded up to the full amount.
Okay.
Because that's how I was going to beat this Knight of the Reliquary Umezawa's Jitte deck. Another interesting aspect of Brandon Chang's deck is he's playing Maverick with Stoneforge Mystic, which is not, by and large, always there, although it is becoming more and more common once again, mostly due to the rise in a lot of these fair bug decks and other Stoneforge decks, but he is running the Batterskull.
Okay.
Most people are off the Batterskull in Maverick. They prefer to run Swords or Jitte because those cards, offer a little different of a dimension to the deck. They're better against matchups like Miracles, which are really tough. But Brandon is running just the Singleton Batterskull and 2 copies of Umezawa's Jitte.
So I don't know what to expect here from Huey. I think Blood Moon's, a questionable card to sideboard, and Pyroclasm is actually not too bad in this matchup, depending. it's not really going to catch Knight of the Reliquary very much, and I suppose Mother Runes kind of invalidates a little bit too. I mean, I think there are situations where you can actually catch some things with Pyroclasm, but more often than not, you're probably going to miss.
I think you have to darkboard it in.
Okay.
Because a lot of the sideboard options for Maverick, like I mentioned the Enlightened Tutor sideboard, a common bullet that they can run is actually Phyrexian Revoker.
Okay.
And there are also Maverick lists that run as many as 2 to 4 Phyrexian Revokers in them between main and side. And I'd much rather have those Pyroclasms and maybe be forced to pay 3 mana to kill a Thalia than wind up paired against a Phyrexian Revoker and just be ice cold.
Sure. Through the Breach, though, I think is one that's going to come in this matchup, mostly because, what the Maverick player is going to try to do is try to invalidate Show and Tell and Sneak Attack, and so as a result, Through the Breach gives you a unique way to actually go about still accomplishing what you want to do, which is get a Gristlebrand or never going to play and attacking. So it's nice to have that too, and with all the manipulation in this deck, it's not incredibly hard to find.
Yeah, we already talked about how, just putting a creature into play is not that great against Maverick, but attacking with it immediately is very good.
Yeah, fantastic.
Through the Breach is just more of the same.
So Chang is going to take a mulligan down to at least 6 here. Jensen looks like he's happy with his opening 7, so we'll be underway shortly here in game number 2 of round number 8 here in Los Angeles. Cedric Phillips, Glenn Jones, providing the commentary for you guys here in the open series. That SCG Live, hashtag SCGLA for your tweets. Glenn, I know you got your Twitter open. You always do.
I do.
So if you see it, Glenn will probably read it.
Probably. I'm not saying I'll, factor it in or anything like that.
You're not?
No.
I feel like I missed
No
something
promises.
here.
That's
No.
my middle name, Glenn No Promises Jones.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. It's a true nickname. That's for sure. That is accurate.
They didn't give it to me because it wasn't true.
Yeah. So let's see if Chang can find a better hand here as he's got 6 cards laid out. He can do better.
I see a Knight of the Reliquary. That's a good start already.
Uh-oh. Let's see. He went reaching. I don't know.
I see a Misty Rainforest
yeah,
and a
see
Green Sun
one.
Zenith. Let's snap this. Yeah.
All right. Hierarch, too. Okay. So he's going to start probably getting Savannah. Just playing that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
maybe
he's
not.
past 2 Savannas, so where
Basic Forest?
Interesting. Perhaps in fear of those Blood Moons that you talked about.
All right.
You know what? Whenever I see someone making plays like this and their deck is all shiny, I tend to assume they're a bit of a legacy ringer.
I'm inclined to agree with you. And he hasn't lost yet.
Or they borrowed cards from a legacy ringer. Those are the 2 options. Based on Brandon's record and his methodical play here, yeah, I think it's safe to say he knows his way around this matchup, knows to potentially expect a Blood Moon.
Jensen going to start off with a Ponder, so let the manipulation begin.
Looks like he wasn't happy with that Ponder. I see a Pyroclasm already in his opening hand, so we know that he did bring those in, as he should. Any deck that has Noble Hierarch, it's going to be, got the potential to 2-for-1 pretty easily. And Brandon likely going to lead Knight of the Reliquary here, and that'll help him get blown out. He did bring in the Trinosphere.
Okay.
Interesting. He has the option to play it right now, and I would.
I would want to get that on
yeah.
right now. And this is going to cause, oh wow, and that's going to resolve against Jensen. He's going to take a look at it, and we'll bring it up on the screen for you. The 3-sphere, a vintage staple, makes everything cost 3.
Yeah. Pretty easy card to understand. Oh, wait.
Yeah. It's a little complicated, but just assume that everything costs 3.
Yeah, that's generally how it works. And William Jensen likely to have sided out Daze against this particular deck on the draw. Having it against any Noble Hierarch deck is pretty awkward, much less when you're on the draw. So that's one of his answers to the Trinosphere on the draw gone in this spot. And he didn't force it, so yeah, it sticks. And he obviously has no turn 2 play because he only has 2 mana.
Yeah.
And this is 3-sphere.
This is 3-sphere. This is not 2-sphere. Now, Scrib Ranger will also cost 3. So I think if you want to get something established here, and he's gonna cast Scrib Ranger. He's gonna return this, untap, play, and then bash for 1. So he wants to get damage in. He had the option there of deploying Knight of the Reliquary instead of getting Scrib Ranger out there. But I think maybe his thought process is I'll just get Knight of the Reliquary in via show and tell. But Pyroclasm looks like it's gonna clear some things up here.
Yeah, I really don't like that choice to go Scrib Ranger instead of Knight. Obviously, it opened us up to Pyroclasm, but like surprising someone with a Knight of the Reliquary when they show and tell, you're not surprising anybody. They know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You're playing Savannas. This is not a difficult trick to figure out.
I know what you're up to over there, green-white deck. It's actually your only trick.
As I said in the first game as well, Wasteland is one of the primary ways you can pressure Sneak and Show, try and screw them off of red or catch their soul lands, keep them from being able to sneak attack you. And getting a Knight of the Reliquary into play sooner means you can start Wastelanding them sooner as well. The Knight of the Reliquary can always go fetch Caracas. Caracas isn't going anywhere.
That's true.
Except maybe to your hand.
That's also true. Now that Knight is in play, things change drastically for Jensen. You see him slow down here on his turn about, okay, now I have to worry about A, that Wasteland that's in play, B, Knight that can get additional Wastelands, or it can go get, everybody's friend Caracas here. He's going to play Ancient Tomb, and he's going to cast Show and Tell.
Well, the worst thing that Brandon can put into play is already there.
Yeah.
So
Jensen, not this again. Sneak Attack is here. He has Emrakul too, so. Whew. Well, there's the Batterskull token. Here's the activation. Emrakul, Annihilator 6. Count the permanents with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 7 of them.
there are 7. The Germ token provides a 7th permanent. So Brandon probably going to hang on to, I imagine, Knight of the Reliquary and lose everything
Knight,
else, right? I mean, he's in a tight spot either way.
Oh, well, I see Jensen's hand, and I don't know if you caught it or not.
I did not.
There's another plate of spaghetti there.
Oh, well, we have that beat. We got a Knight. Jensen has to also have another red source.
Oh, hold on. Do we have
draw
that
a
beat?
land.
We need a land to have that beat.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we have a Knight, but we need a land to have that beat, as Emrakul's going to shuffle in all the friends. Oh, look at that. Shuffle with the Brainstorm off an Emrakul. Now that is nice. That is good tight play.
Not William Jensen's first trip to the rodeo.
Doesn't always need a fetch land to shuffle it with Brainstorm. And too, because that Knight Reliquary is actually pretty gosh darn big, and one of the runes off the top. So going to attack 1, 2, 3 million, not 17, unfortunately. for Chang.
Yeah, just short, 16.
Yeah,
Unlucky.
and Jensen's going to quickly untap. He's going to draw his card. He's going to activate that, and there is Nemricool, and that is going to do it. So William Huey Jensen is going to win this match over Brandon Chang, 2-0. Sneak and Show moves on to 7-1. Maverick picking up its first loss, but now that's going to put Chang out of top 8 contention, and with any luck,